Chapter. We normally interview founders, and obviously we couldn't interview the founder of Aguirre Newman. It would be a very old person probably. And we normally don't interview people from the corporate sector. I mean, they're cool, but when we do it, not a lot of people show up to the event. And I'm super grateful that you all came here, probably because this time we really have a really amazing speaker. It's going to be Ana Genet. Please, music, because we do have the music. We don't pay them to come at Stargrind. We don't pay the speakers. So you will stand up on the count of 3. We'll give the biggest rock star applause to Ana Genet. Gracias. All right. All right. That was cool. How many times have you been welcomed on stage as a rock star?
No, it's the first time, and I love it. Thank you.
It was not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, thank you very much. This means a lot because obviously, as I said, they share our values. We don't pay them. They pay us with their time, right? So we're going to learn from you. And I will introduce her. You know, she's the CEO of Sevilla Aguirre Newman here in Barcelona. She sits on the board of multiple associations because she wants to pass on a legacy. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But the funniest thing of them all is that when she started as a financial analyst, she said, I'm just going to do this. I don't want to meet people. I don't want to have to deal with people in business. And look now, where you are. 11K followers on Twitter, giving speeches and keynotes to multinationals. How did that happen?
I really don't know, but that's the truth. When I joined the company where I still work, as a junior financial in the capital markets department, the description of the job that I required for was very financial. Calculating internal rate of return, investment scenarios, cash flows, etc. And I felt comfortable with that because before working there, I was a financial auditor. So the kind of work that I expected to do was similar. I thought that it was similar to that. No? But as soon as I started working, on the very first day, I realized that what was mainly expected of me was that I talked to the market. In other words, that I talked to the real estate players that I knew no one in that moment. And that was quite a challenge for me because what I wanted is to be on my Excel. And of course, I had to put together my investment analysis and my financial analysis, but I had to have a lot of commercial and interpersonal skills. So I thought that I got the wrong job for several months, but step by step, I built confidence in myself as I was creating a good relationship with real estate players that I finally met. And as I was closing several important deals for my company, and what I saw with great surprise and with great joy is that I had good skills on that, in meeting people and in having good relations with people. And then I relaxed and I started enjoying my job as I had never done before. Mm-hmm. So what I think is what happened to me was that I hadn't analyzed properly my skills. So I'd like to share with you that this lesson that I learned before choosing what you're going to dedicate to, analyze your skills, know yourself, think about what you like to do, what you're good at, because the difference is enormous. You have to find the job that will highlight all your potential. And after graduating in economics, I was working, as I told you, as a financial auditor for 6 long years, terrible years, I think now. But in that moment, I was happy with that.
We all have a dark past. I work at Deloitte. It's all right. Yeah.
Exactly. But I learned several important things in that period, of course, no? that had helped me a lot in my career. But the truth is that when I joined my company because I thought that I do a different kind of job, and that mistake saved me. I found my place. So if you want to find your place, know yourself, and try to love what you do. That's very important also.
Actually, these two things are very important, right? This exercise of reflection and getting to know oneself is, do they have to go together at the same time, or one can lead to the other, like knowing what you're good at or what you like to do? Or do they have to go, together?
I think that they go together. Mm-hmm. But when you love what you do, you feel it because you have a high level of commitment and you're willing to make a big effort because you understand the meaning of your professional activity. And if you have a high level of commitment, you're willing to make a big effort, of course, you'll perform it outstandingly. And the truth is that business world needs people who love what they do. It's so important because it's the only way to carry it out in an outstanding manner. That's the only way.
It's very funny because when I watch interviews from founders and investors from all over the world, mainly Silicon Valley, because we want to learn from that, right? And some of them, they are like, I used to be homeless. I used to be addicted to heroin. I used to smoke lots of marijuana and this and that. And now I'm a kick-ass entrepreneur and I founded whatever, right? And here is our dark past is I was a lawyer or I was in the corporate world, right? So it's kind of like funny, this distinction of maybe we don't want to share. I'm not going to get into that. My next question being, you obviously have not abandoned the corporate world and you've been at Aguirre Newman then afterwards, Aguirre Newman with the fusion for almost 20 years. What is it that it gets you there and keeps you there? What have you found there?
Because I love what I do.
All right.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. I think that there are two important things in my professional work. The first one is the people that I work with, that they are just amazing. I really appreciate them, and I respect them professionally, personally, very deeply, and that's very important for me. And the second thing is the activity itself. I can imagine that real estate activity doesn't seem the sexiest thing in the world, but in my opinion, it is.
For someone there who's got a prop tech startup is, right?
Yes, that's
for
right.
For one person.
That's right, but I'm from the traditional activity.
Definitely.
And I'll tell you why. In my opinion, urbanism, architecture, and the real estate activity in general have a high impact in our quality of life because it defines cities, it defines where we live, where we work. And here I have to say that I'm a lucky person because I began my real estate activity in 2003, before the big crisis. And in that moment, in Barcelona, we're flourishing several new areas, like 22at, 22@. 22at district in that moment was a very interesting place because it was the newest thing in the city, and we had the opportunity to establish there several important companies, international companies, that choose Barcelona to be in Southern Europe or in Europe.
Yeah.
And we had the opportunity also to close several important deals there. And it was great. I'll tell you briefly, very briefly, but I think it's a very beautiful story, the story of 22at. 22at is located in the neighborhood of Barcelona, named Poblano. Maybe you know this area. Poblano, at the end of the 19th century, was where the industrialization, the textile industry in Catalonia flourished. And that area had a golden period in that moment. But in the 80s, at 20th century, with the construction of new industrial areas outside Barcelona, many factories in Poblano were abandoned, and that area had an important degradation, was severely degraded in that moment. And the Barcelona City Council approved a master plan in 2000 to transform 200 hectares of obsolete industrial land into an innovative district for working, living, and learning, because there are a mix of urban uses. There are houses, there are offices, and there are a lot of universities there. And I really think that is a success in our city, that area, because in my opinion, gives a response to the new city challenges. And that's great to take part of that.
That's fantastic. And what I wanted to share is actually, what do you see that has changed over the course of the years? Because you guys have been transforming Barcelona yourselves, like giving these buildings to the big companies. You didn't mention any, but I'm sure you can mention some names now. You've been involved also in recent happenings of other big companies coming to Barcelona. You can probably talk about that. But how have you seen this transformation, and to what extent have you guys participated in it? Can you give some examples to?
Yes, of course. Well, I don't want to say several names here, but the main international companies are choosing Barcelona, as I told you, because here they find several things very important for them. The first one is the quality of life that we have, the lifestyle. And here I'm not talking only about the weather, the food, the urban beaches that are great, of course. Yeah. Here I'm talking about urbanism, and I'm answering your question, because here we take part of this. But you have to think that Barcelona is a Mediterranean city, and that means that we like to have in the same block offices, houses, of course, commercial offer. We don't want to live in one part of the city and to work in another separate part. Yeah. We want an integrated, balanced city, because we really think that assures a high quality of life. And the truth is, that living in Barcelona, it's comfortable, it's easy, it's nice. And I really think that is our main success. And that is why our international community increases every year. We can see the data. And I think that we have to preserve it, and we have to celebrate it, because it's great for our city.
Definitely. One of the things I read in your articles, and you're very active on social media, is that there's a certain lack of leadership in Barcelona, so on.
Maybe.
And maybe, I mean, there should be more leadership in the city, of that, in spite of there's political turbulence and a lot of other happenings, right? But why do you think all these companies are coming nonetheless, right? We're having Alibaba, we're having, Satellogic, Microsoft,
Amazon,
call center of Facebook.
Yes,
and,
WeWork, a lot of them, that's true. Yes, that's right, what you told. I think that we don't have strong leaders, not in the public sector, not in the private sector.
Right.
But what I think is that all of us, we should try to collaborate in making big our city and our sector and our industry, wherever you have. Here I have to say that, as you told, that I'm involved in several organizations, trying to help, trying to contribute, because I really think that it's my responsibility, not because I am someone, but I'm inhabitant in Barcelona, so I have to help the city to be great. And I'd like to name just two associations. I'm in a lot of associations.
Yeah, I'm going to go into that.
Of course.
You can mention them. You can mention them,
yeah. Okay.
Because I will not remember them.
Okay,
absolutely.
No, don't worry. But I'll just mention two of them, because I think that they can be interesting for you. But for example, I am a member of Barcelona Global. I don't know if you know this association. It's an association whose objective is to make Barcelona one of the best cities in the world, to attract talent, to develop talent, and to make business. So I have to help this organization, because that's what I want. And another organization that I like to mention is Barcelona Tech City. I'm sure you know this association.
Yeah, we quite know them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because as you
it
know,
might be here, so
great. But we are their real estate partners, and we are very proud of that. We like to be in contact with the digital and tech ecosystem, and I really think that one of the objectives of our city is to be a tech city. Yeah. That's what I'd like. So I count on you, because most of you, I think that you are in that industry. So please help us to achieve this objective.
Actually, one of the things I wanted to go a little bit in depth into is that, You are part of a lot of boards and you're a member of a lot of associations. But when I question you about it, it's because you want to pass on a legacy, right? You want to do
Yes.
something for the generations to come. Is that also motivation? Because you're obviously not quitting your job ever. Is that a way to be involved in other projects as well?
Yes, that's right. Look, what happened to me was that after the crisis, that was terrible for us.
Yeah, especially for your sector.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It was our sector was completely devastated, and we lived difficult times. We had to fire people. We had to come up with new business. We had to discover new clients, all of them international. But after that, that was very hard. I realized that we had learned a lot. We had a united team, a better team. We were far better trained and far better prepared than before the crisis. So to achieve the company objectives was much easier. And in that moment, I realized that to be a good professional, you don't have only to make sure that your company makes money, but also you have to make sure that you leave a positive impact in the area where you act, socially, economically, culturally. And then in that moment is when I got involved in several associations trying to contribute, trying to leave a legacy, some kind, because the question is to give without expecting a reward in return. Who support your decisions, and I really think that in good times, but mainly in bad times, it's better if you establish a choral management.
There you go, your screensaver.
What, sorry?
The screensaver went out. Yeah,
okay,
all right, it's all right, yeah.
No, what I told you, that it's better than the decisions rest on a group of mentally connected people. That's very important, that you find the appropriate people, and I have that's great joy. And the second thing that I learned is that there are no crises that spend a lifetime. So you have to resist. You have to survive that terrible period, because after a bad one will come a good one. Economic life is made up of expansive and recessive cycles, as you know. And where you're in a certain phase, try to prepare for the next one, because it will come. So if you do that, that will help you to prevail and to make your company better than your competition. That's the two lessons that I learned.
I'm not going to make a lot of remarks about this because I prefer you to talk about this subject, but being a woman is hard. Being a woman in business is harder. Being a woman in business, in the corporate sector, in real estate, during the worst economic crisis of the last years, must be hardcore level of difficulty, right? Where are you up for that challenge, and what have you learned? I mean, how did you do it? How did you manage to?
No, I think that, well,
I was a walk in the park, right?
No,
yeah.
well, I'm very proud to be a woman, but I don't think that I had special difficulties in the crisis. The truth is that women have several extra barriers, that's true, to get the top positions, that's the true. But, well, I really think that there are good managers that are women, good managers that are men, and the opposite. So, but if you leave me, I'll tell you what I think that are the main barriers that find women to get to the top positions. In my opinion, first of all, we have received an education that doesn't encourage us to embark in a professional career up to these high-level positions. This is an internal barrier. This barrier is inside ourselves, and we have to break it, because it has no sense. We have, women have as much right as men, of course, to lead, to decide, to call the shots. We have to understand this. And maybe ourselves don't see us in that position. Secondly, the terrible current business culture with long working hours doesn't enable the hard work with the family care. And that's a problem because the family care still rests mainly on women. So it's difficult. And the third barrier, in my opinion, the most important problem is that young women don't have many references or models of women who decide, who have influence. So they receive the message that the top positions aren't for them, and that's very serious and that's very sad because, as you know, they are perfectly capable to reach this position. So
that's why I wanted to do here. Like we need more roles. When we have interviewed people like Mara Larcon, we've had interviewed like Ingrid Verschuren from Dow Jones. We have interviewed many other women here in Startup in Barcelona. And if there's some common consensus is that we need more roles. Therefore, we will bring more. So I'm going to ask, that brings me to my next question. Who are your roles in life and in business?
I have a lot. I have
We've got only half an hour. You can say just a couple of them. That will be.
Sorry, but you mean who are my references?
Yeah. We need role models, right?
Yes.
To engage with more entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs worldwide.
I tell you that there are not famous people. Maybe around myself, I found several important models for me. Sometimes there are men, a lot of yes. Why not? And sometimes are women. Of course, I feel closer to women, but I think that it's a good experience to take role models in men. You do things perfectly well, so I want to learn
some
a bit.
Of us, only some. Not gonna lie, not all of them. Is there anybody specific you want to point out, like? Maybe.
No, but they are private people, so.
I'm not going to speak about private life. This is not your. This is not. No, it's another show. Don't watch this one. That brings me, to the next question is dealing in times of crisis. Obviously, you gotta go through really hard times, managing the team, right? You mentioned having to fire people. Maybe you align expectations with somebody else and all of that. In this regard, how did you keep your team together, and how did you let go the ones that had to go?
Yes, I really think that if a team is mentally connected, the difficulties make these people more united. I really think that another important thing is that we share some values: humility, ethics, professionalism, of course. And I really think that a team that share values tend to be more cohesive and tend to work in a certain way. This kind of people, these teams generate an extremely rich flow of communication because all members want to participate, they want to contribute. And when you generate this flow of communication, this connection, is when everything goes well. That's a reality.
When you mentioned before that you need to be introspective and kind of like learn what you're good at, what you got to do.
Yes.
There's a turning point in your life, right? It's like, I love doing code, but I'm not a great coder. But I know I can do like a great deal if I manage a company, if I lead the company as a CEO, or if I raise funds. Although I like the other thing, but being a CEO is like 80% of your time. You do things you have to do, and 20% things you have to do, if even you like doing. Sorry. Is that your case, and how do you balance these two things?
It's difficult, but...
Yeah, because you like what you're doing, and
yes, that's true, but of course, there are some activities that I don't like at all, of course.
Yeah.
But well, we have to find a balance, and we have to think in long term. We have to see things like outside.
Outside of the box,
yes, exactly. And I think that's the key. But the truth is that to find what you're good at it's not easy. Sometimes you have to experience some things, and you have to get wrong, to make mistakes. But well, the point is that you have the curiosity to change, to explore, to make experiments.
Let's explore this a little bit. What was your most expensive fuck up? Most expensive mistake? I mean, you're in real estate. Must be a real expensive one.
What kind
Just
of
kidding.
question?
Maybe you haven't done any mistake. I know, but
No,
in the
of
last
course.
event we had mistakes of like $11 million, right? So
I'm not so powerful, of course,
All right.
but
You say
no,
so.
I've made a lot of mistakes, but I can't quantify on money.
Yeah.
But of course, I do mistakes every day. Sorry, and I'm not proud of that. I don't think that it's good, but I try to learn.
Yeah.
The truth is that I try to learn, and I think that it's the best thing that I can do.
expensive learnings, right? That's how Howard Lovewood says
That's
price
better,
of
this-
education goes up exponentially after college, and that's a really good one. And also, what is something you probably, because you have had this fledgling career in your company, and there must be something you do different than the rest in order to be able to become the CEO of the company. So what did you do differently, and what did they see in you that you could lead this company?
Yes, I really think that we don't want just to make money for our company. That's the truth.
It helps, though.
It helps,
Yeah.
of course. It's the basis of everything, and that's the main objective of any company. That's the
Great.
truth. But we want to work in a certain way, and that's the key. And personally, I want to leave a good impact. I want to fight for some causes that I believe in. For example, the need for more women in the making decision spheres, in the making decision areas, and I work a lot for that. But this is all is connected, because this activity that I really do because I love it, I think that also helps in my career, in my profession, and it's good for my company. But I don't do it for that. So when you're in a lot of areas, like it's my case, because I try to divide my time in helping my profession, trying to professionalize our sector, to boost it in our city. This is the first area, and I'm involved in several organizations for that, with those objectives. And the second area is Barcelona, of course, and the third is, as I told you, a cause that I believe in, more women at the top positions. That's what we need, because what I'm trying to do is a better society with more values, where the power, the economic, the social, the political power, and the family care are better distributed. And that's what I do. And it seems that all is disconnected, but it is not, because to be in one area acting helps me to act in other areas. That's the truth.
That's a really good point. And in the startup sector, we have already seen this transition whereby, we have more remote working or flexibility for schedules, more maternity leave, or, people not checking in whether you're in the office or not when you come in, when you come out. However, in the corporate sector, still not there. How are you applying this in your company, and how do you think this change is going to arrive in the corporate sector?
I'm not proud about it.
Yeah, that's a big word.
Yes, but the truth is our culture is not good.
Yeah.
We work a lot of hours. Consulting is hard. Real estate is hard. So we are not very flexible. The truth is that. But what I think is that in our area we have to make some changes, and I'm trying to do it, being a model.
Yeah.
In the working well, and I have to say goodbye at 5 o'clock. Do it, because I have another thing.
You lead by example.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes. I think that's the best thing that I can do, because I'm not going to change myself. All the culture, the business culture, that is terrible. I can criticize it, as I'm doing right now, but I really think that we have to change it.
How about in the ecosystem of Barcelona? Although you are not so involved, let's say 100% on the startup ecosystem of Barcelona, but you know it through Barcelona Tech City and other initiatives. What do you think Barcelona needs to do better? Like, what do you think we can improve at?
We have to be a better city of business, and
right.
I'll tell you why. As you know, Barcelona has had great success in terms of tourism. We receive every year more than 10 million of tourists that spend a night at minimum.
Yeah.
But we have to be a city of business also. We don't want to be Venezia. We want to be a city for all the activities. Not all the activities, but we have to select, to choose some activities that we are good, and we have to professionalize it and to sophisticate it. And I think that we can really achieve this objective. We have several important things that are good in our city. For example, the office rents are lower than in other similar cities. We have social and cultural life with a lot of dynamism, and that's important to attract talent and to attract companies, international companies. We have a very good education here. We have international business schools. We have centers of research. We have centers of transfer of technology, and that's very important for our city. And we have an excellent commercial offer that combines the coexistence of the best international firms with excellent local ones. And we have an excellent lifestyle. We have a lot of things that are great. And I think that all these conditions that we have can help us to be a better business city and to attract multinational companies.
How can we do it? Like enabling more, I don't know, international connections, or bringing more qualified jobs, or is there any specific thing that you would change if you were the mayor?
Yes.
We need a leader like you. Yeah.
Like you, Alex, like you. No.
We want a female leader. I mean, another one. Just kidding.
No, in my opinion, we have a very good point, that is that we have good local talent because our universities are good. And the second important point is that our city attracts international talent because our city is great. So, what do you prefer, to live in Stockholm or in inclusive?
Don't ask me.
No, okay. Or in Barcelona. I think that it's obvious. It's obvious. So the talent is the main strength that our city has. And
you're sharing a lot of content on social media, and I know it because you work really hard. You do it after hours, and you're not doing it during your work time. But
sometimes
you seem to work on a lot of your social media, and maybe that's a part of personal branding. Maybe it's not, but you share great content of like art, films, lots of business news. So why do you do it? Is there any sort of strategy, and do you think this is also helping your business?
Yes, I really think that it helps my business because I can see how it helps me. But the truth is, I don't have any specific strategy. All the contents that you're named, that you're mentioned, are my passions. So for
you watched
me,
Kill Bill the other day, right? Yeah, as I saw Kill Bill.
Exactly, films that I like, or of course, passions like art, architecture. For me, it's very easy because and we have Google. We have to put Picasso, and you have everything. And I choose, and I send it every morning, and I say bon dia.
Yeah.
I send a mail every day, and I try the image with a lot of love because always all these images are things that I like. So I want to share that.
To whom do you send these emails? Is it an email you send in the company, or?
No.
Or is it a tweet?
Oh, a tweet.
Oh,
Sorry.
I thought you sent an email, like, good morning, everyone.
No, sorry. No.
Here's my favorite. I watched this film yesterday. FYI.
A tweet.
I mean, it's great. Okay.
No.
We could try it. There's a couple of other questions. Then we open the floor for questions. There's a lot of people here want to ask you stuff. First of all, like, what is your superpower? What is something you do exceptionally well? And you say, like, I'm the best in the world for this.
No, I'd like two things. I'd like that our team, our people feel cared for. That's what I'd like for me. And I'd like, of course, my family felt care. That's the two the most important things in my life, and that's what I'd like to be a superwoman in that.
Superwoman's great.
in those cases.
It's a great one. Next question is, obviously you're in real estate, right? So you technically you can do this if you want it. Is if you could place a billboard in the middle of the city for everybody to see with a message, what would it be?
Oh, so nice.
It's an annoying questions time. Don't worry, yours are next.
But
I love this question. Sorry.
But about Barcelona or about?
Anything you want. Like Mark Andreessen said, raise prices.
Okay.
Because that's a good one.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you.
I'll
tell you what sentence. Know yourself.
Okay.
And love what you do. That's what I think.
That's good.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna just write the blog post about this interview with this. Superwoman said. And the last one is, everybody's got a superpower, but everybody has got a useless superpower. Something you do every day, no excuses, no exceptions, but it's useless. It's completely useless, and you do it perfectly. What would it be? Example, just like mixing the socks every day, you're like locking the car, walking away 50 meters, like, did I fucking lock the car? And walk back and check it. This is a useless superpower.
Maybe I'd like to be more serene, because when I get to the office, I arrive so energetic and so nervous that I'd like to be more serene, and maybe that.
Being hyperactive in the morning seems like a great power, though, as a lot of people take a lot of time to ramp up. All right. Thank you very much.
No, please.
Big applause, and now we go for the questions.
Thank you, Alex.
High five. All right. There's going to be questions. I'm going to explain the rules, because some people just come a lot, but they don't remember the rules. Say your name. One question per person. Be respectful of other people's time. Thank you very much. Generic, as much generic as possible, because she's going to stay for a bit afterwards. So if you're going to pitch, don't pitch, all right? Otherwise, we'll boo you. Who's going to start? Yeah, there you go.
Hello. Okay. Name is Greg. And listening to your comments, it's on the themes of, I guess, responsibility, legacy, and all that good stuff. I think it's wonderful, by the way, to see what the model that you're serving as. And I'm thinking on the terms of equality, because I know this is male and female equality and going that direction. My question relates to, I don't know if it's a class inequality or an income inequality thing. I watched a video yesterday looking at the anti-establishment movements in various countries of the EU. And I'm wondering, from a woman's corporate position, if anything, how do you respond to those voices that are not so happy with how corporate activities in the past have happened?
That was a long question.
Sorry about that.
I got lost. You got it?
Help me, please, because
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
It's
No,
a
but-
good
but-
question. Put differently,
But
how
have
do you
you
respond?
understood?
Yeah, how do you feel about like these anti-establishment movements around Europe? As a person who's inside the corporate sector, is that about right? So we didn't quite hear. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
What's your position on this?
A difficult.
We're gonna cut this from the video. Yeah, don't worry.
No. but I don't know. The women issue is difficult to talk and to convince everyone. But I just think that we have to change, and I just think that the women question is not a question that women have to fight about it. I think that it involves all of us, because all of us want to have a better society. So I think that you understand that our position is not where we have to be. You know that we have the education, we have the learnings, we have experience, and we are not in the power positions. And it is across all sectors. It is across the political power, the economic power, the social power, and we have to change the situation. And it's sad because just we were not talking about it, but it's a question that involves all the society, in my opinion. So I'm sorry because I don't know if I'm asking your question, but what I'd like to make today with you is to convince you that you have to fight for this because it's for all of us.
Great. Next question. All right, over here, over there. That one's closer. And we come over here, yeah.
Hi, Anna.
Same you. No, you got the mic over there.
Do I go?
Yeah, yeah.
My name is Natasha. Thank you so much for your
Thank
speech,
you.
your talk today. My question, you were talking about how Barcelona, a few years back, they had the kind of regeneration project with the 22 arroba.
Yes.
Where do you see the next big change happening in our city in the next 5 years?
That's a good
It's a
question.
very interesting question. In my opinion, we have to think in a big city, not just the city that is powered by the city council. We have another big Barcelona, in my opinion, from Sitges to Mataró, Itarrasa, and we have to think in this kind of city if we want to be a competitive city and if we want to be in the first league of the world cities. So I think that the next big change will be that all of us will think in Barcelona in a bigger area.
That's a good one. Yeah. Next one, over here, we had a couple questions. Oh, yeah, you already have got the mic. You're prepared, man. Go for it.
Hi, my name is Pablo. About the future in your professional career,
Yeah.
next steps?
Next steps, very nice. Well, maybe to make what I do, but in a better way. But I really want to continue this work, having an impact in these areas that I've choose, and to make our team stronger and more united and more connected and I think that to share those values that I talked about is the main success that I'd like to get. Thank you.
A couple more that were over here. Adriana, you had one question. What happened? Okay. Mike is over there. Mike disappeared. What happened? It's over there. We do magic. Oh, yeah.
Hello, I'm Georgina again. Thank you for your speech.
No, please.
I would like to ask which is the most disruptive technology in operation-wise that it affected your business?
Wow.
Well, you're in prop tech sector.
Yeah, we can tell.
And yes, and we really we work a lot with technology in our company because we really think that is the future. And you know that we have 3 important competitors, and we are always the same in all speeches and all tenders, always the same, always the same, always the same. But I really think that our big competitor hasn't appeared, but it will come, and it will be a digital competitor. So I'm expecting to appear and to meet, and I'd like to work there because I really think that technology is the future in our sector, in all the sectors, but in our sector especially maybe.
Maybe it's already sitting in the audience. A couple more questions, real quick. Over here, yeah.
Hello, my name is Zor. Thank you very much for the session.
Thank you.
So my question is, on your journey to becoming a CEO, did you encounter any obstacles just because of being a woman? And if so, how did you do to face them?
The reality is that my company is a very open-minded and very modern, and they don't mind if my name is Pepe or Ana. So I don't think that I've had an additional obstacle. But the truth is that the real obstacles are inside ourselves, are in the society, are in the education that we've received, and all the points that Alex asked me before. And are great obstacles, and we have to fight to break them. But I really think that I don't feel that in my career, in my company, I've had additional barriers or problems.
Great.
Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you.
No? Last one over here. Okay.
Just a quick one, more transgender. How sustainable is like your company in towards developing Barcelona as a sustainable city, apart from being bike friendly or whatever? I mean, the buildings being built more in a sustainable way, because we know that resources are scarce nowadays, and so I don't know how the policy is to move towards a sustainable.
Good one.
No, of course, for us it's very important, this criteria. We have an important architecture division, and all our architects are absolutely connected with the sustainable criteria, and of course, for us it's not a question. Of course we have to be sustainable, so
Okay.
yes, thank you.
He's been waiting for his whole life for this moment. Yeah.
I ask you in Spanish, I'm not very good in English.
Okay.
¿Cómo ves Barcelona? Es decir, tendrás una idea, una imagen de ella y peleas para eso. Entonces, ¿cómo la ves tú y cuáles son los objetivos, ¿no?, que crees que tiene la ciudad?
Bueno, un poco han salido, pero los desglosaría en calidad de vida, que es importantísimo. ¿Pero por qué? Pues porque nos hace ser una ciudad especial. Es decir, no es calidad de vida una cosa frívola, es que es una cosa que nos define como ciudad mediterránea y como ciudad que disfruta de las cosas bellas que hay, nuestra arquitectura, nuestra luz, nuestro mar. Todo esto es fundamental para nosotros, y que seamos una ciudad caminable, esto que explicaba antes, ¿no?, del mix de usos, es muy importante, que no seamos como las ciudades anglosajonas, ¿no?, que tienen muy separadas donde viven, donde trabajan, donde tienen el ocio, shopping centers. No, nosotros nos gusta otro estilo de vida, y es muy apreciado. Por eso viene tanta gente de fuera, ¿no? Y esto lo tenemos que ser conscientes y defenderlo. Y luego, pues un modelo de ciudad abierta que aspire a que el talento local encuentre buenos puestos de trabajo. Por eso es importante que se creen nuevas compañías, nuevas startups, ¿no?, que generen estos puestos de trabajo adecuados y que seamos atractivos para que vengan multinacionales. Y luego, a nivel urbanístico, también ha salido previamente, pero yo realmente creo en una gran Barcelona, que todas las políticas de vivienda, las políticas culturales, las políticas medioambientales, las políticas de promoción económica, todo esto no puede ser dentro de un área metropolitana de 36 alcaldes. Es que yo estoy hablando de un área que va más allá de la metropolitana y que tenga unas políticas sumamente conectadas. Esto es lo lógico. Y si realmente queremos estar en la primera liga de las ciudades, tendremos que pensar de esta manera. Es difícil, porque claro, esto implica pérdida de poder, porque siempre es, oye, yo controlo aquí, y esto yo hago lo que quiero, mi promoción económica, mi política. Pero claro, tiene poco sentido, ¿no? Entonces yo creo que el próximo reto de Barcelona tiene que ser abrirse, igual que se rompieron las murallas en la Edad Media o sea, cuando se construyó l'Eixample, las murallas medievales, y se construyó l'Eixample, pues ahora nos toca otra barrera mental, que es pensar en esta ciudad más extensa y mejor organizada.
Thank you very much. Standing ovation,
Gracias.
everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you.